Well, it's the end of 2023, and over the course of this year, we have received a lot of Sonic content. From the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, the content updates of Sonic Frontiers, all the way to the release of Sonic Superstars. However, if you told me the same people responsible for games like Sonic Dash, Sonic Forces Speed Battle, Sonic Jump Fever, and more were making a traditional Sonic experience for mobile devices, I honestly wouldn't believe you. Now, fast forward to when the project was finally announced, I was really excited for this new game to release until I saw the Apple logo within the first 15 seconds.
Are you crazy? What are we gonna do?
Okay, look, I know there are a lot of people, especially within my audience, that don't really exactly have an Apple or iOS device in general to play this game. I personally had a means of playing this game thanks to my older brother. Thank you, by the way. Hopefully this game will make its way to other platforms so a lot more people can play it, but until then, let me talk about my experience with Sonic Dream Team. Hey, so I know I'm like a month or so overdue with this Dream Team review, but you gotta understand, I had stuff like school and I had to go on vacation. That's all the details I'm gonna give, but just know that 2024 is gonna be a great year for this channel, and I hope you are gonna stick along for the ride. Anyways, for now, enjoy the Sonic Dream Team review. First things first, let's talk about the story, which honestly this time around is not too crazy, but it's also not bad, so I can rock with it. Eggman has found this new device called the Reverie, which has the power to turn dreams into reality. Eggman is attempting to harness this power of the Reverie in order to conquer the world and create his fabled Eggman Empire. Using Cream the Rabbit, who we haven't seen since Sonic Generations, dear god it's been a while, as a filter to use the Reverie with no consequence. It's up to Sonic and Co to travel through Eggman's dreamscapes with the help of a new character, Ari the Dreamweaver, in order to save the world from Eggman's schemes once again. Yeah, like I said, the story is nothing too crazy, but then again it is a mobile title, so I can understand that. The story doesn't carry too much leverage into the gameplay, so if you ask me, it's a win-win. But anyway, let's talk about the presentation of Sonic Dream Team and what I really enjoy about it. Starting off the bat, we received an amazing opening animation created by the people at Powerhouse Animations, and they do not disappoint every time they surprise me more with their animations. The opening song written by T-Lopes just tops everything off, making this a great impression. I still don't understand why T-Lopes didn't write the whole OST, but you know what, we'll get back to that later. The menus and level select are honestly pretty mobile-esque and get straight to the point of what you must do. The models and designs of all the characters are definitely full of life, and it shows. The fact we have fully voiced cutscenes is honestly stellar for a mobile exclusive game. The controls for the game honestly could be better in some respects. Like, I wouldn't mind the ability to stomp or air boost in certain areas, honestly, but what is given is not too bad. Controller support is also pretty hit or miss, but then again, I was playing with a Switch controller, so you know the controls are sometimes inverted, so you're gonna have to switch that. But this game doesn't give you the option to switch certain buttons, so like, you know, you gotta do what you can, right? Now that we have the presentation out of the way, let me talk about one thing about Sonic Dream Team that I think they get absolutely right. For a mobile game, this has some insane animation, like I cannot lie. Before Superstars, if you even want to count that, we haven't had this fluent kind of animation since Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Yeah, I know, crazy. The characters are extremely expressive no matter what setting they are in. Not to mention, they are moving their eyebrows for once instead of their freaking eyelids. Look, I'm not saying that the cutscenes in Frontiers are bad, but come on. His eyelids, bro. Like, they had the most goofy eye expressions in Frontiers. Look at Dream Team. He's actually moving his eyebrows, bro. That's amazing. But yeah, personally, compared to the animation we received from the past mainline Sonic games, including Frontiers, Sonic Dream Team swoops them all for the most part. Even if most of the cutscenes are still PowerPoint presentations, they still carry a lot of spirit within that form. Not to mention the use of idle animations being present, and everyone in the cast still looks amazing. So when it comes to animation, Sonic Dream Team excels, keeping a much more consistent palette than the likes of the previous mainline Sonic games from the 2010s. Now, let's talk about the characters. So this time around, we have the choice of 6 characters, those being Sonic and Amy as speed type characters, Tails and Cream being flight characters, and Knuckles and Rouge being power or glide characters. Each character type has a special move that the other types cannot do, giving it a bit of the Sonic Heroes treatment feel if you think about it. Speed type heroes can use the light speed dash, flight characters are able to, well, fly, it's in the name, and power characters are able to use glide. I honestly really enjoyed this about the characters and really admire that nobody is a copy paste of one another. But can we talk about the voice acting for a quick minute? Alright, so for the most part, I have no complaints about the voice acting. It's pretty much the same cast from Team Sonic Racing, and Cream is still being voiced by the same person that voiced her in Sonic Generations, and so is Rouge. But what the heck happened to those two? I'm being dead serious, what happened to those two? Cause it's either when I'm hearing Cream or when I'm hearing Rouge, I feel like I'm either being patronized for saving them,
All your hard work.
or I'm just being taught a lesson from back in the day.
What does that even mean?
Listen, I don't know what happened to their side of voice direction because everyone else sounds perfectly fine to me. Honestly, the voice direction in this game sounds a lot better than in Frontiers, where the characters mostly were just talking like their normal selves rather than the actual character. Or I think the characters just need a redesign, but that's just me. Oh wait, they did get a little bit of a model redesign in this game. But yeah, bottom line, everyone is fine. Cream is okay, she just sounds a little bit more raspier. And Rouge, I don't know what they did to her, but like I said, she just sounds like a grandma. Alright, so enough rambling. Let's actually get into the gameplay. In Sonic Dream Team, there are a total of 4 acts with a total of 6 corresponding missions inside of each act. The stages or zones this time in particular are Scrambled Shores, Dream Factory, Nightmare Maze, and Ego City, which all have a pretty unique feel to them, and Ego City basically being a more sinister version of Eggman Land. Or not as sinister as the Xbox 360 version, but you know what I mean. The main objective of the game is to complete missions within each zone and collect Dream Orbs. Collecting Dream Orbs is how you unlock new zones and characters, and certain amounts are needed to progress within the story itself. If you ask me, this reminds me a lot of the earlier 3D Mario titles such as Super Mario 64 and especially Super Mario Sunshine. It's not bad by any means, and it works extremely well for this type of game. Something I like about the missions here is how each one ends up not feeling the same all the time. You could be in a certain area within the full stage and need to collect dream shards in order to complete the level, or be a certain portion of a stage within a certain limit. Then to wrap things up, you race against the clock to see if you can beat the whole level within the given time slot. It really makes the game feel fresh every time you go into a level, that's for sure. And one thing I really must applaud Sega Hard Life for is how incredibly fun the level design for this game is. I swear, every time I go into a new zone or mission, I honestly did not get bored once. And at times, I felt this is how the stages in Sonic Frontiers of Cyberspace should have been like. Honestly, with the way this game is designed and its overall look and feel, I can see this being exclusive on the Nintendo Switch, and a lot of fans honestly would love it. All the characters control pretty well, however there were a few times where my character would drift to a certain angle, so I can't say that the movement is completely better than Frontiers. That still has the best movement of Sonic we've seen in a very long time. Knuckles and Rouge were pretty good, but their glide was absolutely atrocious. Especially if we're talking about Sonic Frontiers Update 3 before it got its quote-unquote hotfix update. This is honestly the worst glide we've seen in a very long time. In my opinion, the turn radius is trash and it's very heavy to turn. And just by gliding forward, it just descends really fast, making you just plop down. With the level design at hand, I feel like it works so I won't hate it too much, but sometimes it can be a little irritating knowing that descending is a hit or miss on whether or not I can make it to the next platform. I feel like a lot of people I've seen either like this glide or not, but I think the majority is fine with the glide based on the level design, so we'll have to see how this goes. Alright, I rambled on for quite a bit, so let's move on to the music. It's alright. Nothing jaw-breaking like the music we've heard from past games, and nothing like the bad tracks we received from the mixed Sonic Superstars. None of the music honestly feels like it has the Sonic or even modern Sonic vibe to it. With that reasoning, I see this as one of the less great aspects of this game, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. Respect to Miguel Van de Bo. I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. But the music unfortunately was not hitting. I honestly could imagine T-Lopes doing more songs for the game, but what we got here is perfectly fine for a mobile game, and I'm not too upset with it. Especially the final boss, because that actually feels like a final boss. Speaking of bosses, the bosses here are pretty short and sweet, and I really enjoyed them. While the skill ceiling isn't pushing any crazy boundaries, like the fights in Sonic Frontiers, they are still a pretty good time. Also, can anyone explain why the third boss uses the switch click sound effect? I don't know, I just found that weird, but hey, at least it works. Anyways, moving on to the end game, we go up against Nightmare Eggman, where I guess some people may consider a super or just new form of Eggman. Either way, he looks really cool, so it doesn't matter either way. This time, we're going against Eggman in a somewhat tag team type of stage. This time we play as all the characters throughout the stage who are basically holding an orb, which happens to be Ari. Except for Tails though, he was basically just there for plot convenience. Our job is to take it to the core where Nightmare Eggman gains all of his power from. and I must admit, for a final stage, it's not bad. It's really not that bad at all. The animation also shines once again, and it also just reinforces the fact on how amazing the animation is. I don't know, but for some reason I wish the boss lasted longer. But once you start hearing the opening theme by T-Lopes, you know it's time to end the dream! Once we jack Ari into the core, Eggman's dream, or in this case, nightmare, starts to shatter.
Hell no! My Eggman Empire will rule supreme!
In your dreams.
Oh my god, she said the thing! She said the thing, the dream thing! You know, in your dreams, it's like... You know what, screw you guys aren't fun. After you complete the final boss, there is still a bit of content left to be played, such as collecting all the trophy statues you received as you played the game, as well as the Tales challenges that refresh every week with basically repeated missions of what you already played. But it's still nice content if you are a completionist. Ultimately, if I haven't said it already, what we received with Sonic Dream Team is honestly fantastic. It may have some flaws, but then again, that just comes with the territory at this point, am I right? It still doesn't take away the fact that this is still a fun and consistent Sonic game that I believe anyone with access to play it should play it as soon as possible. And to my non-Apple fans, let's hope we get a port of this game soon. No, like seriously, I was playing this on my brother's phone and it was literally turning into an oven once I made it to Ego City. Well, that's it from me, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay safe and take care.